You were not sent into this world to become a doormat. You were not created to smile through disrespect, stay silent through betrayal, or nod politely at manipulation. Let's get one thing straight. Kindness is beautiful, but when kindness becomes self-abandonment, it turns toxic. When you're kind to people who drain you, lie to you, belittle you, and then smile back like nothing happened, you're not being noble, you're being naive, because real kindness starts with you. Some of you are being kind to people who would replace you in a second. You're giving loyalty to people who wouldn't give you honesty. You're pouring from an empty cup just to keep people comfortable in their bad behavior. And deep down, it's not love, it's fear. Fear that if you speak up, they'll leave. Fear that if you stop being overly available, you'll be forgotten. Fear that if you draw a boundary, they'll call you selfish. But here's the truth. If your kindness is costing you your peace, your sanity, your self-worth, it's no longer kindness, it's self-destruction. Stop being kind to people who only love you when you're quiet, soft, agreeable. You are not here to be everyone's comfort zone. You're here to evolve, to grow, to rise. So yes, stop being kind to everyone, especially the ones who treat your softness like weakness, especially the ones who mistake your grace for gullibility, especially the ones who only reach for you when they need something. You don't owe kindness to energy vampires. You don't owe patience to disrespect. You don't owe forgiveness to patterns. You don't owe your light to those who thrive in darkness. Kindness, when offered with wisdom, can heal. But kindness without boundaries can destroy you. And no one's going to applaud you for being the woman who gave until there was nothing left. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. And every time you smile through someone crossing a line, you're giving them a silent permission slip to do it again. Let them call you cold. Let them call you distant. Let them say you've changed. Because the truth is, you finally woke up. Being kind doesn't mean being blind. It doesn't mean silencing your needs to avoid conflict. It doesn't mean carrying other people's emotional baggage while neglecting your own. Real women, the kind that build empires, raise standards, break cycles, they don't hand their kindness out like candy. They choose, they discern, they observe. They know who's worthy of their time, their space, their love. They know that kindness is not a currency to earn love, it's a reflection of self-respect. So don't stop being kind, just stop being kind to everyone. Be kind to the truth, be kind to yourself. Be kind to people who see you, value you, protect your name when you're not in the room. The rest, let them feel the weight of your silence. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a woman can do is walk away with that word. Kindness is one of the most powerful qualities a human being can possess. It has the ability to disarm anger, to soften hardened hearts, to heal wounds that no apology can. It's a language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. But what happens when that kindness is misused? What happens when your soft heart becomes your silent killer? When your good intentions are constantly being weaponized against you? When your love becomes the very rope others use to pull you into their chaos? You were taught to be kind by your parents, your culture, your faith, your society. You were taught to smile, to say yes, to forgive quickly, to be accommodating, to put others first. You were taught that it's better to be kind than to be right. And that lesson was beautiful, but incomplete, because they never taught you where kindness ends and self-betrayal begins. They never taught you that kindness without boundaries is self-destruction dressed as virtue. You see, people love kind souls, but not always for the right reasons. Sometimes they love kind souls because they are easy to manipulate, because they never say no, because they never fight back, because they are more afraid of disappointing others than they are of betraying themselves. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life being applauded for your kindness by the very people who are taking advantage of it. There is nothing noble about being emotionally available to people who are emotionally absent. There is no prize at the end for suffering in silence. There is no honor in allowing someone to repeatedly violate your peace just because you don't want to seem rude. You are not being kind when you tolerate disrespect. You are not being kind when you silence your needs so someone else can feel comfortable. That's not kindness, that's conditioning, that's fear. That's a desperate attempt to be seen as lovable, even if it means you have to abandon your own heart in the process. And I get it, you've probably been praised for how sweet you are, how patient you are, how understanding you've always been. But the truth is, they're not complimenting your character, they're complimenting how convenient you've made it for them to be selfish. Because it's not sweet to stay quiet when someone disrespects you. It's not patient to continue showing up for someone who never shows up for you. And it's not understanding to tolerate the same lies over and over again in the name of love. If your kindness is rooted in guilt, it's not kindness. If your kindness is rooted in fear, it's not kindness. If your kindness only shows up when your worth is on the line, when you feel like you have to perform goodness in order to be accepted, that's not kindness. That's a trauma response. Somewhere along the way, you learned that love must be earned, that peace must be negotiated, that happiness must be sacrificed. And now you think it's your job to carry everyone's pain while neglecting your own. But you don't need to keep proving your goodness to people who don't value you. You don't need to be the savior in every story. You don't need to water dead plants just because you promise to love them. You can be kind, deeply, beautifully, fiercely kind, and still have boundaries that protect your soul. You can be kind and still say no. You can be kind and still walk away. You can be kind and still hold people accountable. Because real kindness doesn't mean abandoning yourself to accommodate others. Real kindness means treating others with love without treating yourself like an afterthought. There's a difference between kindness and people-pleasing. People-pleasing is fear in disguise. It's the voice in your head that says, if I don't say yes, they won't like me. If I don't help, they'll leave. If I don't forgive, I'm a bad person. That's not kindness, that's emotional enslavement. That's you handing over your power because you're afraid of rejection. That's you sacrificing your truth to maintain an illusion of peace. But peace without honesty is just quiet chaos. And sooner or later, that chaos will come for your mental health. You think you're being kind when you stay in relationships that drain you. You think you're being kind when you ignore the red flags because you see potential. You think you're being kind when you let your friend cross a boundary again because they didn't mean to. But what if the kindest thing you could do for yourself and for them is to stop allowing behavior that needs to change? What if the kindest thing you could do is to finally respect your own? What if the kindest thing you could do is to show them how to treat you by not tolerating how they currently do? You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And every time you stay silent when someone crosses a line, you're giving them silent permission to cross it again. Every time you forgive without change, you're rewarding bad behavior. Every time you show up for someone who's never there for you, you're training them to believe your presence is guaranteed, even when they don't deserve it. Some people will only love you as long as you make their life easier. The moment you stop making sacrifices, the moment you ask for reciprocity, the moment you show that you have needs of your own, they'll call you difficult, selfish, cold. But that's not a reflection of your character. It's a reflection of their entitlement. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're not here to be everyone's emotional caregiver. You're not here to bleed for people who wouldn't even offer you a bandage. You're here to live in truth, to love deeply but wisely, to give without losing yourself in the process. Because if your kindness comes at the cost of your inner peace, it's not generosity, it's martyrdom. And you weren't born to be a martyr for other people's dysfunction. Yes, be kind. Be the kind of person who brings light into a dark room. Be the kind of soul who listens without judgment, who helps without expecting, who gives without agenda, but also be the kind of person who knows when to say enough, who knows when to walk away, who knows that their energy is sacred. Because if you give yourself away to everyone, you'll have nothing left for the people who actually deserve you. It's okay to be kind. It's beautiful to be kind. But it's dangerous to be kind to everyone without discernment. Your kindness should be a gift, not a currency. Your kindness should be a choice, not a compulsion. Your kindness should never come at the expense of your voice, your values, or your sanity. Because at the end of the day, no one's coming to rescue you. No one's going to thank you for all the times you stayed quiet to keep the peace. No one's going to hand you a trophy for enduring what you should have walked away from. You have to rescue yourself. You have to be the one who says this is enough. You have to be the one who stops the cycle. You have to be the one who finally realizes that being kind is not about pleasing people. It's about honoring your soul. So stop apologizing for your standards. Stop explaining your boundaries. Stop overthinking your decisions. The people who are meant for you will never make you feel guilty for loving yourself. They'll celebrate your strength. They'll match your energy. They'll respect your no as much as they admire your yes. You are not difficult. You are not dramatic. You are not too much. You are someone who has finally realized that kindness without wisdom can break you. That love without limits can drown you. That giving without receiving will leave you empty. And the world doesn't need more empty women pretending to be fine. The world needs more women who are full of clarity, full of courage, full of self-respect. Let your kindness be powerful. Let it be wise. Let it be sacred. But never let it be the reason you lose yourself. Discernment is strength, not loud strength, not aggressive strength, but quiet, composed, grounded strength. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself, the kind of strength that knows exactly who it is, what it deserves, and where it's going. Discernment is the inner knowing that not everything that looks good is good. Not everyone who speaks well means well, and not every opportunity is aligned with your purpose. In a world obsessed with fast decisions, quick answers, and constant availability, discernment is a rebellion. It's the refusal to rush. It's the ability to pause when everyone else is pushing. It's saying, let me feel this out, while the world screams, just go for it. It's the wisdom to ask, does this feel right? Does this serve my peace? Does this align with my values? Most people aren't lacking in kindness, they're lacking in discernment. They keep letting the same energies in and then wonder why they feel drained. They keep choosing charm over character, presentation over presence, noise over truth. But charm fades, words lie, noise distracts. Only energy tells the truth, and discernment is the gift that allows you to see what lies beneath the surface. It's what protects your time, your emotions, your destiny. You don't need more friends. You need discerning ones. You don't need more love. You need love that respects your spirit. You don't need more opportunities. You need alignment. Without discernment, you will keep attracting lessons instead of blessings. You'll confuse attachment for love, chemistry for compatibility, validation for connection. And every time it breaks you, you'll blame your heart for caring instead of questioning your mind for choosing. It's not cold to be discerning. It's not arrogant. It's not guarded. It's responsible. It's intelligent. It's spiritual. Because not everyone should get access to you. Not everyone should be trusted with your softness. Not everyone should be allowed into your sacred space just because they showed up with a smile and a good story. Discernment protects you from misplaced compassion. It reminds you that being kind doesn't mean being naive, that you can wish someone well and still walk away, that you can forgive someone and never let them back into your life, that you can love from a distance and still honor yourself. People who lack discernment often confuse peacekeeping with people-pleasing. They think avoiding discomfort is wise. They think saying yes to everyone makes them good. But discernment teaches you to choose discomfort now to avoid destruction later. It teaches you that a moment of awkward honesty is worth a lifetime of self-respect. It teaches you that losing someone who doesn't align is a blessing, not a punishment. Some of the greatest heartbreaks in life come not from loving too much, but from trusting without discernment, from believing words instead of watching behavior, from projecting our own loyalty onto people who had no intention of being loyal, from assuming someone has the same heart as you just because they said the right things. Discernment is what saves you from repeating these patterns. It's what allows you to ask the hard questions. Who are they really? What do they want from me? Are they consistent? Are they aligned with my values? Are they growing in the same direction as me? The world doesn't teach you to discern. It teaches you to chase attention, validation, status, success. But discernment says, don't chase anything, attract it. And how do you attract it? By knowing your worth so clearly that you're willing to wait for what's right, even if it means standing alone for a while. By knowing that not all that glitters is gold. Some of it is just distraction wrapped in excitement. By knowing that just because someone wants you doesn't mean they're good for you. Just because a door opens doesn't mean it's your door. Discernment is rooted in self-awareness. The more you know yourself, the more you recognize what aligns and what doesn't. The more you heal, the more obvious dysfunction becomes. The more you grow, the more uncomfortable you become around energy that hasn't. That's why sometimes after a season of inner work, you find yourself outgrowing people you thought you'd never live without. It's not because you've become arrogant. It's because you've become aware. Awareness is the foundation of discernment. It takes strength to choose discernment in a culture that glorifies access, where everyone is oversharing, overgiving, overcompensating. Discernment says, protect your energy. Don't explain your every move. Don't expose your process. Let your evolution be private. Let your peace be sacred. Let your standards be high. Let your love be rare. Discernment isn't about building walls, it's about building gates. Gates that open only for what feeds your soul, not just your ego. So many people are spiritually exhausted, not because life is cruel, but because they keep saying yes to things they should have said no to. They keep trying to fix people who don't want to change. They keep chasing closure from people who only give confusion. They keep forcing connections instead of flowing into alignment. Discernment is what ends this cycle. It's what brings clarity to chaos. It's what brings order to emotional noise. It's what teaches you that not every relationship is meant to last. Some are just lessons to wake you up. You will know when your discernment is growing when you stop needing closure from people who hurt you, when you stop second-guessing yourself after walking away, when you stop explaining your boundaries to people who clearly have none, when you stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself, when you stop allowing people to rent space in your mind just because they once held a place in your heart. And yes, people might misunderstand you. They might say you've changed, that you're colder, more distant, more selective. Let them. Growth always looks like distance to those who say the same. Let your silence speak. Let your boundaries speak. Let your peace speak. You don't need to convince anyone that your discernment is valid. The results will speak for themselves. The healthier relationships, the deeper peace, the better decisions, the elevated life, that's the reward of discernment. You don't owe access to anyone who triggers your trauma. You don't owe explanations to anyone who manipulates your compassion. You don't owe space to energy that contradicts your healing. Discernment isn't just about saying no, it's about saying yes only to what feeds your evolution. And the stronger your discernment, the more your life will begin to reflect your values. The people around you will shift. The conversations will change. The way you show up will transform. Because you'll no longer be living reactively. You'll be living intentionally. And that is true power. The power to pause. The power to choose. The power to protect your heart without hardening it. The power to love without losing yourself. The power to see clearly, not through the lens of your fears, not through the illusion of your fantasies, but through the clarity of your spirit. Because when your discernment is sharp, you can sense energy even before words are spoken. You can feel when something's off. You can trust your intuition without needing external confirmation. And that inner clarity is more valuable than anything the outside world can offer. Discernment isn't about suspicion. It's about spiritual intelligence. It's about being so rooted in your truth that anything that doesn't match that vibration becomes uncomfortable. It's about being so in tune with your worth that anything less than love feels foreign. It's about being so honest with yourself that you no longer tolerate anything fake from others. You don't need to beg God for protection when you've been given the gift of discernment. Because discernment is divine protection. It's how God guards your path. It's how the Spirit speaks, not through noise, but through nudges, through stillness, through that quiet conviction in your soul that says, this isn't for me. And you know what happens when you start listening to that voice? Peace. Not the kind of peace that's performative, but the kind that anchors your soul. The kind that allows you to sleep at night without racing thoughts. The kind that allows you to walk away without bitterness. The kind that allows you to love people without needing to possess them. The kind that allows you to be in rooms without needing to be the loudest voice. That kind of peace only comes when you trust your discernment more than you trust other people's opinions. So don't be ashamed of being selective. Don't shrink your standards to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Don't lower your discernment just to avoid loneliness, because the loneliest place is not being alone, it's being surrounded by people who don't really see you. And nothing will drain your soul faster than constantly explaining yourself to people who aren't even capable of understanding you. And your discernment will save you from that. It will elevate your circle, sharpen your vision, and protect your calling. You don't need to be perfect, just aware. You don't need to have all the answers, just the courage to ask the right questions. You don't need to control every outcome, just the strength to walk away when something doesn't feel aligned. Because at the end of the day, discernment is not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better for yourself. It's about finally realizing that your peace, your time, your love, and your energy are not free. They're sacred. Self-respect comes before people-pleasing, and that simple truth has the power to change your life. In a world that constantly pulls at you, demanding your attention, your love, and your energy, it's easy to forget this foundational principle. You may find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, agreeing to things that don't serve you, and giving so much of yourself to others that you forget to give to yourself. We've all made you feel exhausted, unappreciated, and even resentful. And still, you keep going, hoping that by making everyone else happy, you'll somehow fill the emptiness within you. But here's the truth. People-pleasing is a lie, and self-respect is the foundation upon which true happiness is built. The very first step toward peace and fulfillment is acknowledging that you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give love, care, and energy to others if you don't first give it to yourself. You can't keep sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of someone else's comfort, and yet, too often, that's exactly what we do. We abandon our own needs in the name of love, friendship, or even obligation. But there's a dangerous cost to this. The more you give without considering your own needs, the more you lose yourself. Your time, your peace, your dreams, they all get swept away in the current of pleasing others. And eventually you look up and wonder where you went. Self-respect isn't about arrogance or selfishness. It's about knowing your worth and honoring it, no matter what others may think. It's about saying, I matter. My needs are important. My peace is essential. Self-respect is the act of drawing boundaries, even when doing so might upset others. It's the quiet strength that allows you to say no without guilt and to walk away from situations that threaten your well-being. It's about prioritizing your mental, emotional, and physical health over the approval or validation of others. When you begin to respect yourself, you stop seeking approval from others to validate your existence. You stop looking for external sources to confirm your worth. You stop trying to fit into spaces where you don't belong, where your value is not acknowledged, where you're asked to shrink yourself to make others feel comfortable. You stop pretending to be something you're not just to be accepted. You become your own source of validation. You stand tall in your truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And the beauty of it is that when you do this, the right people, the people who genuinely value you, will be drawn to you and they'll love you for the person you truly are. People pleasing is a trap, a cycle that keeps you stuck in a state of perpetual dissatisfaction. It starts with the need to be liked. At first, it feels harmless. You're just being polite, being kind, being thoughtful. But over time, this behavior can become a crutch. You become addicted to the external validation, to the praise, to the sense of being needed. But this validation is fleeting, it's conditional. It depends on you continuing to meet everyone else's needs, even at the cost of your own. And when that validation fades, you're left feeling empty, drained, and unseen. What's worse, people-pleasing teaches you to ignore your intuition, your inner voice, the one that tells you when something isn't right, when something is out of alignment, gets drowned out by the noise of other people's expectations. You start to doubt yourself. You start to question your instincts. You start to believe that your needs don't matter as much as others' desires. You become so focused on making others happy that you forget what makes you happy. Yeah, but the problem with this is that no amount of pleasing other people will ever fill the void within you. You can't give away your peace and expect to receive it in return. You can't give up your time, your energy, your dreams and your desires just to make someone else comfortable and expect that they will appreciate it. The truth is, people who are used to you being available at their beck and call may not even recognize the sacrifices you're making. They may not see how much it costs you to say yes when you should be saying no. And even if they do see it, they may not care because they're too busy focused on their own needs. In the end, the person who gets lost is you. This doesn't mean you shouldn't help others. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be there for the people you love. What it means is that you have to stop sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others. You have to learn to prioritize your needs and desires and be okay with saying no when something doesn't serve you. You have to be okay with disappointing others when it means preserving your own peace. Self-respect is the foundation of healthy relationships. It's what allows you to stand in your truth without fear of rejection. It's what allows you to love and care for others without losing yourself in the process. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you. You attract people who value your time, your energy, and your boundaries. You attract people who see your worth and appreciate it. And the more you honor your own needs, the more you show others how to honor you. It becomes a cycle of mutual respect, where both parties give and receive in a way that is healthy and fulfilling. Self-respect also means being honest with yourself about your limitations. It means recognizing that you can't do everything. You can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to choose yourself, even when it means letting someone else down. Because at the end of the day, your relationship with yourself is the most important one you'll ever have. That if you're not happy with yourself, if you're not respecting your own needs, then no amount of external validation will ever make you feel truly fulfilled. There is power in saying no. There is power in choosing yourself over others. And it's not about being selfish, it's about being self-aware, self-loving, and self-respecting. When you respect yourself, you create space for the right things to enter your life. You create space for the people, the experiences, and the opportunities that are meant for you. You stop wasting time and energy on things that drain you, and you start investing in the things that nourish your soul. It's time to stop pretending that you don't matter. It's time to stop putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. It's time to stop thinking that if you just give a little more, love a little harder, and do a little extra, that things will change. People will only treat you the way you allow them to. If you continue to allow yourself to be overextended, overused, and undervalued, that's exactly how others will treat you. But if you start setting boundaries, if you start prioritizing your own needs, if you start saying no without guilt, people will begin to see your worth, and the ones who truly care for you will respect your boundaries and love you for it. When you choose self-respect over people-pleasing, you free yourself. You free yourself from the need to constantly seek approval. You free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to meet everyone else's expectations. You free yourself to live authentically, to be true to yourself, and to create the life that you deserve. And that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to attract the people, the opportunities, and the experiences that are truly meant for you. So, choose yourself, choose self-respect, and let go of the need to please everyone else. Because when you respect yourself, everything else will fall into place. You will find the peace, the love, and the fulfillment that you've been searching for, not because you're pleasing others, but because you're honoring yourself. And that, my dear, is the most beautiful thing you can do.